Welcome to the weekly Q&A, everybody. Today we got 15, some more people joining, 16 now. Welcome, everybody. So the way this works, if you're new, so you can just pop your questions into the chat, and from there we'll go through them one by one. We're going to try to stick with questions just around strategy mode, just because most people are not ready for X mode, so we just want to keep this nice and simple. We don't want to confuse anybody, so yeah, if you guys have any questions about trading, strategy mode, the navigator, BFT, feel free to shoot those into the box. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, feel free to put your questions into the comments on YouTube. You know, this Q&A is really for anybody who wants to, you know, either join BFT or you're in a trial, you're seeing if this is going to be a good fit. So if you want to learn more about BFT, or if you have questions about any strategy trades that are playing out right now, happy to look at those as well. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or concerns, anything, you know, about the trades, about strategy mode, good weekend, doing X mode. Okay, awesome, Barry. In the video lessons, the guy says to choose USD, but I'm from Netherlands and I use Euro. Is that really a problem? I suggest you use USD, because when you use the position size calculator in the navigator, the lot sizes and the account size here, it's in USD. So to make sure you're opening the correct lot sizes, you should be using a USD account size. And you know, if you're doing withdrawals and stuff like that, just once that happens, then you can just convert it back to Euro. But I do suggest sticking to USD. USDJPY came off close to break even. Yeah, I'm also out at break even for right now on USDJPY. Linda saying Euro is a little bit more than USD. Yeah, you know, it's yes, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the same once you withdraw it, right? So it'll be less in the account, but once you withdraw it, you're going to have more profit. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's the same. Jordan, would you suggest trading exotics as it's not showing much on the majors or minors? I wouldn't go into exotics. Your win rate is going to be a lot lower on the exotics, and you can confirm that with the people who've been with BFT for longer. Just exotics in general are not good pairs to trade, so it's good just to stay away from those. And you know, we're gonna have weeks where there's less trades. We're gonna have months where there's less trades. We're gonna have weeks when there's a lot more trades. We're gonna have months when there's a lot more trades. So this is where one of those months so far in August where we have less trades than usual. You know, in like a usual month, we have, you know, at least one to three new trades coming on a week. But really, yeah, it really depends on the market. Some weeks we'll have less, some weeks we'll have more. So we'll see what kind of next week brings. We could still have more opportunities coming in this week for sure. It's just a matter of time. Like this one hasn't been really triggered yet. GJ, so we have some setups that we're waiting for, but you know, it's just a matter of time letting them play out. Just going through the pairs, see if there's anything new that came up since yesterday. Nothing yet. Let's check the minors. I have a few questions about X mode, but is it just strategy we're talking about today? It depends. I don't want to go into detail too much, so if you have some questions, feel free to shoot them, and then I can go through it. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube that talk about X mode in detail. But yeah, feel free to shoot questions about X mode if you want. Can you look at EURCHF? Yeah, let's have a look. So EURCHF has been in this range, right? So EURCHF has been consolidating for quite a while. You can see it's been kind of bouncing between this support and this resistance up here. So you can see how price has been bouncing in between. So hopefully what we can see is a breakout to the upside. So we've hit our first TP like quite a bit already, but now it's just a matter of, you know, breaking to the upside, which hopefully we can see. But really right now it's really indecisive. So you can see these wicks at the top here, they're showing that sellers want to push it down, and you can see that wicks at the bottom pointing that the buyers want to push it up. So it is an uptrend overall. And in most cases, when you have a consolidation and it's an uptrend, it'll go out the same way it came in. So what I'm hoping is we see on USDJPY. So we had a nice big push up, we had a push down, and hopefully we're going to see another push up to the next TP. That's what I want to see. Of course, I can't control the market, but that'll be the ideal kind of trade here. So, and that's what we're trying to play here with this trade. We already hit TP1 a couple times on this trade. So if you made money on that, congrats. If you didn't, you can still get in on the support, take it up to the TP when it does go there. But just keep in mind, this trade has been repeated multiple times. So there's a high chance it can go break and then go to the stop loss. So depending how comfortable you are with your trades, it's still a trade you can take. If you're new to trading, if you're don't want to deal with those emotions, if you want to play it on the safe side, then this is a trade you can skip. But again, I am expecting TP3 here to be hit as well, because it looks like it's accumulating orders, so you can have a nice push to the upside. It's forming a triangle. Yeah, sure, you can say that's a triangle too. I just work with levels, so I just use. Is it possible to add futures to the chart like E-mini, S&P 500? We got the S&P 500 on there. I don't think we got the E-mini, but yeah, that's for sure. That's something that's we want to have as many markets as TradingView does, but that costs a lot of money, so we can't just keep adding that data feeds. So we're slowly adding more. For example, last week we added crypto. So the crypto feeds, they're really good right now. They're real time. They're really good data. So our plan is to keep adding more markets as they become available. Because we also have to find reliable data providers. So we can't just take a cheap one just to give you guys the markets, because we want to make sure you guys have the proper data for that too. Question about X mode from Linda. For example, GBP CHF 1 hour RTD says uptrend. Is this according to one daily time frame? Because it seems on 1 hour it's a downtrend, right? So the RTD is not based on a single time frame. It's based on the overall structure of the market. So it takes the high time frames into account. So if the overall trend is up, it'll say up, but it's not based on the low time frames. So sometimes you can have a downtrend or like a short-term retracement on the low time frames, and then it'll still say uptrending. So here you can see, for example, on GBCHF, you can see it's making higher highs, higher lows, right? So this was your low, higher low, and potentially this would be your next higher low. So it is uptrending. You can see it's going up with your higher highs here as well. So it is an uptrend. And let me double check the RTD if it's actually saying uptrend. Uptrending, yeah. So it is an uptrend based on the daily, and that's kind of the momentum you should be following when you're day trading X mode. Always go with the trend. From Jordan, I've been using daily strategy for a while and slowly integrating X mode. What time would you suggest I use, as I don't get much screen time as I'm working Monday to Friday 9 hours a day. I also have a little girl too. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is just keep using X mode. So kind of incorporate the strategy mode with your own trades in X mode. So go through the daily time frames on the majors and the minors and see what kind of trades you can set up on the daily. So get a good understanding of X mode by looking at the strategy trades. So overlaying your strategy mode with your X mode, and then just kind of see how these trades play out, and then try to form your own strategy using X mode. So, because with X mode, you have to build your own if statements, right? So you have to kind of build your own strategy. It gives you the levels, but you still need to kind of execute on those levels as well, right? So yeah, start on the daily time frame. If you have a full-time job, you're busy with family and stuff, that's going to be the best. Just swing trade the daily time frame. But yeah, then just use X mode for those trades. Yeah, to answer your question in short, I would do the daily time frame. Will strategy mode be used for different time frames in the future? So we used to have strategy mode on the 4 hour, but if you go into the low time frames, you really have to know how to day trade. And if you don't have the trading discipline, if you don't have the trading execution for that, you know, most people fail. So when we looked at the data, we saw most people, when they were trading the 4-hour strategy mode, they were failing, or more people were failing than they were having success on the 4-hour, just because they didn't know how to execute it properly. So then we turned that off. Now it's just a daily, but we are planning to bring that back in the future. Once people basically want to have like a trading simulator, when people pass like a day trading test in the simulator, once they go through that level, then they can unlock the strategy mode on lower time frames. But we want to make sure that the people get access to it, they're ready for the power. Because if they're not ready for it, then it's going to do more damage than good. I'm guessing the trades that say not found, I could still use X mode with them, right? Yeah. So if there's, you know, for example, this one, no trade zone, you know, this, you know, even though the strategy mode isn't saying no trade, you can still create your own trading plan to create your own trades. So for example, you know, buying support or buying a broken level, etc. Will alerts be something that is added to the navigator? Alerts like when price hits a certain, or when a certain price target gets hit, or what kind of alerts? There's a couple of alert ideas in the feedback portal. So if you go to feedback.breakfreetrading.com and then check out what people are saying, you can upvote different features and ideas. So the way we deploy development is based on the priority of the feature and the idea. And if that idea is important, it really makes a big difference for users, then it has a higher priority. Alerts in general really don't it increases the user experience, but it doesn't give you guys better results in the grand scheme of things. So it's really not a big priority right now, but it is something that has been suggested, and that's something we will look into in the future. For my life, like I explained, could I trade for a time frame using X mode? Yeah, you definitely could, but if you don't jump into the 4-hour if you can't even do it on the daily. So just start on a daily. Once you're consistent on a daily with X mode, then you can go into the 4-hour. No worries, Jordan. That's what the Q&A is here for. I just want to sit here and answer you guys' questions. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in. Wait, so we got a David Wood and a Davey Woodley. Are you guys the same people, or is it two different people? Or did you just rename yourself? Oh yeah, there's David Woodley and David Woods. I know you say your trend is your friend. For example, an uptrend, we always look into doing buy limits. Only reason I ask because say the market hits the resistance line and turns down, we set that up as a small sell. Yeah, just stick to the RTD. You answer the question yourself, Jordan. You know the answer. It's just your brain wants to take trades that are not according to the plan. So you're looking for reasons to make it what's the word? To make it something that you can do, even though you know you can't. If that makes sense. Is there a reason why data as pips is not shown by long or short positions? You mean with the position tool? If you hover over it, it'll show up, so you can see. So 122 pips TP, 244 pips, 143 pips stop loss. This is actually new. So the way it was before is these labels always showed up. But if you want them to show up, you can go to the gear icon and then click on label, always hover. So check that, and then it'll stay on. We did this because it was always in the way with the candles. So we didn't want the labels on the candles. It was annoying sometimes. So then we implemented this, what only shows up when you hover over it. And that was a little sneaky update they made. Trying to think of more questions that I know I need help with, but can't think. No, will come. Yeah. So if you have questions after the meeting, just pop them into the global chat. Lots of people there who can help. Will strategy mode be available for micro E-mini futures? Yeah. So strategy works on any market. So as long as you're on the daily time frame and strategy mode is enabled, you can trade that as well. So if you do stocks, futures, options, crypto, doesn't matter what you're trading, and it works on any market. I've always been told that the high time frames drive the smaller time frames. I'm really confused as to why more emphasis isn't placed on the trades that appear in strategy book for weekly. So if you're looking at the weekly, that's where you get into the position trades. So that you're going to be holding trades for weeks or I would say months. So you can look at the weekly, but it's really not going to be that beneficial because then you're looking at like very long time frame, and I don't think any of you will have the patience. Also, not myself. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times, the strategy trades will line up with the weekly too. But yeah, you don't need to look at the weekly. If you want to trade more markets and forex, that's going to be the pro plan. Is it best to always leave the stop loss the same as it's shown on the S? Always leave the stop loss, never move it. Yeah, if you move it, then your win rate is not going to be at 70%. When you trade strategy, you don't have to look at any news such as forex info. No, so if fundamentals or like news events, like the regular economical news, they're already priced into the chart. So what everything news does is for us, it's gonna push us into our entries and into our TPs quicker. So it just makes everything move faster. But we don't have to look at news, or we don't have to trade with news. Everything's already priced into the chart. Even for my day trades, like I don't check the news. And the TP as well. Yeah, so you don't have to move the TPs. If you want, if the algo recalculates, you can move your TPs, but you don't want to move your stop loss just because then your risk is going to be off. So let's say NZD CAD, let's say the old stop loss was up here, and or let's say the stop loss here is at this place right now, but then it recalculates to all the way up here. Like your risk is going to be different, right? You're going to lose a lot more if you just move your stop loss up here. So if price goes up and you're supposed to get out here because that's what your risk parameter is set up for, and you don't get out here and you get out up here, you're going to lose more than 3.5%. So yeah, keep the stop loss the same if you want. TPs are okay to move if the algo recalculates, but that's something you don't have to do. You can just keep everything the same it was. The reason why sometimes the TPs disappear is because the algo found another trade for that same pair. So right now it can't show two trades at the same time. That's going to be that's actually something that's being fixed right now, and the algorithm is going to get an update visually to accommodate that. So you don't have to update your TPs if you don't want to. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys are wondering a little bit about USDJPY. We can quickly go over that if you guys want. USDJPY. So USDJPY, the reason why it came off the algorithm is because it switched from downtrending to uptrending. Now it's back to downtrending. And one of the reasons is when you look at the chart, you can see our price is kind of bouncing in between this support and resistance. So we can see our price is bouncing between these two levels. And so when price goes back below the N, that's where the RTD is basically going back to downtrending. When it moves back above the N, that's where it goes back into uptrending. That's not how the RTD works, but in this specific case, that's kind of how it's displaying the trend, because when it goes up here, we're in this range. So we had like a kind of a fake out here and also here. So what could be happening right now is the same thing that happened here. It could be the same thing happening here, just because the market is a little indecisive right now, so it doesn't know where to go. So depending what happens over the next few days, if price moves back above this N, we can see some more bulls. If there's a really nice close below this N, we could that original strategy mode trade. If you're still in it, that could still play out. Personally, I'm at break even. I can re-enter using X mode if I want to later. So if there's a nice close below it, then I can take a short. But yeah, just so you guys know what's going on with USDJPY. Is it smart to trade gold on strategy mode? Yeah, you can trade anything on strategy mode. If there's a setup, then you can take it. Just make sure your risk is good. Yeah, there's nothing on here right now to trade. When using X mode and I set up a buy limit and use the two levels showing above the entry as a TP1, TP2, how far would I set my stop loss if there's no level? Would I have to use the buy position tool and use the risk for it? Just use a, if you're entering on the X mode levels, just use 1.7. Because 1.7 is going to give you a good chance to get out at the break even. And you're going to hit less stop losses on 1.7. And because you're entering on mathematical levels that are based on you using the X mode, the 1.7 works really well with that, because usually it's right below either support or resistance. I was asking about being high volatile trade by using the one date. I mean, the daily time frame is not going to be that volatile. So if there's a trade, you can set it up. Probably going to be a good trade. Volatility isn't always the bad thing, right? If you're entering on the right levels, volatility just helps you get to TP or stop loss, either or, faster. The important thing here, guys, is that you set up. When you're trading, you have to strategy mode. You have to set up all the trades. If you only set up, 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 5, depending on how many they are, we don't know which ones are going to be the losers, which ones are going to be the winners. So if you only set up one trade, and that one trade is the loser, and all the other 3 or 5 are the winners, then you're going to be, okay, this thing doesn't work. But if you set up all of them, you might hit stop loss on a few trades, but then the other ones are going to be the winners. So it's really important you guys keep putting on trades, because we don't know when a sequence of losers or when a sequence of winners is going to come in. So when you see a setup on strategy mode, it means it's a good setup. It checks off all the things that we need in a strategy. That means it's a trade we can put on. If it says no trade zone, that means that there's no trade there right now. I'll be able to message you as well for info and advice. I get a ton of messages. The best thing probably going to be just to put into global. And then if I'm around, I'll answer. If not, there's lots of other people who can help. But yeah, if you message me privately, there's no guarantee that you're going to get an answer right away. Because most of my private efforts are in the dojo. With your color flags on pairs, what does red, blue, and gold mean for you? So orange or gold, those are my strategy mode trades, my swing trades. And then I have red, those are the trades that are active. Actually, this one is not active anymore. And this one's not active either. But yeah, red is what's active right now. And then blue is what I'm currently looking at for potential entry. Yeah, but that's for my day trading. Great use. Yeah, perfect. Happy that I'm able to answer the question. Any which would expose us to many correlated pairs. I don't think right now there's nothing that's being too correlated. Just follow the general rule of thumb, don't have more than 2 positions on the same trade. That's really the big thing. Or sorry, not more than 2 trades on one pair. If there are during the week setups 3 USD pairs, it is smart to set them up all because they're mostly limit orders. Yeah, so as long as they don't open all at the same time. So you don't want to have too many USD pairs open at the same time. So like if you have one open and then it closes and then the next one opens, that's fine. But if they're all going to be open at the same time, and if something happens in the States, and let's say there's war or something happens, the riots or whatever, some bad news that comes out in the USD, and you're long on it, that's going to affect all your positions. So when they're all open at the same time, not good. But if they're open in separate times, that's okay. What's the difference between strategy mode and X mode? So strategy mode it tells you exactly what to do, and if you go through week 2 training, it's going to tell you how to set this up. So where to enter, where to exit, TP, stop losses. You can get all the values here on the BFT panel. With X mode, you have to do everything yourself. So you have to know where to enter, how to enter, where to exit, how to execute, where to put your stop loss. Where am I going to go in? Where am I going to go out? Is this a good level? Is this a bad level? With strategy mode, it's going to tell you exactly what levels are good, which levels are bad, right? So, it tells you, so this is your long entry. This is where you go in. This is where you go out. This is where your stop loss is. With X mode, it just gives you levels. So it just tells you these are the levels. You can use those levels however you want, whatever your strategy is. So X mode is for the people who have trading experience. If you have trading experience, X mode is a really good tool to have. And then you can also trade the low time frames with X mode. Strategy mode only works on, the daily. X mode you can trade all the way down to the 1 minute. But again, you have to know what you're doing. My main problem with X mode is working on position sizes. There's a lot of tools you can use online. So just Google position size calculator, and then you can calculate your lot sizes. In the future, we're gonna have a calculator built into Navigator, but right now that's something we don't have. Okay, guys, any other questions before we hop off here? Does this work in TradingView? Yes, it does, but I don't recommend you use TradingView just because the algorithm on there is still the old one. So this is the newest algorithm. So you're not going to be able to access the latest algo on TradingView. The people who are still on TradingView, those are the people who want to access markets that are not available on the Navigator right now. So if that's something you need, then you can reach out in global chat and someone will help you out. Other than that, I really highly suggest stick to the Navigator. Okay, awesome. Glad I was able to help today, guys. Again, if you have any other questions, you can put them into the global chat, and then we can keep chatting there. Will the algo update itself? Yeah, the updates are done automatically. When an update is pushed, you just got to log in, log back out, or refresh, and you got the update. Can you take us through an actual mode trade step by step? If you maybe check out the video US30 on YouTube, I really go step by step in that video. I think you're gonna like that video. So yeah. Okay, guys. Hope you have a good day. I'm gonna be signing out now. And if you guys have questions, you can put them into the global chat. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.